Hi, this is Joe again with another review. I say this video I'm going to be discussing a 1941. I guess you could say more of a comedy film than a horror film, and that's the 1941 film The Invisible Woman. So, of course, they also had John Barrymore, who was grandfather of Drew Barrymore in this film, along with also Shep Howard from the Three Stooges. Yes, Shep from the Three Stooges was also in this film. For this film, of course, it's one in a pretty short series of the Invisible Man movies. They had the original one, which came out in 1933. You also had the Invisible Man Returns. You also had Richard Price play the Invisible Man. And now you have one with a woman, and as the invisible character. But of course, this movie is really a straight out comedy. I mean it is. The first Invisible Man was like kind of like a campy movie, kind of like more of like a dark humor, a dark comedy. Really, the original one. They played there's a 10 more serious than the Invisible Woman turned out to be. Now the Invisible Woman saw this, like I said, John Barrymore as this crazy scientist with like a German accent. And what happened is he created this machine, and this formula could turn temporarily, of course, a person invisible. First he tries it out with a man. And now a woman, he sends out a flyer, or an ad in the local newspaper, if anybody wants to be invisible for a while. And he picks one out, a letter out, and puts it out to be a woman who wanted to be invisible. And of course she does it to get revenge on her crappy boss that she has. So that's what she ends up doing. She does getting revenge on the guy. But she doesn't kill him. Nobody gets killed in this movie compared to the original Invisible Man, who was played by Claude Rains, who was the original Invisible Man. He actually does kill a couple of people in that film. But this one, she mostly plays pranks on people, just to scare the crap out of them. And while this was going on, you had this subplot where you had these three goons, and three gangsters, and one of them happened to be played by Shep Howard, like I mentioned earlier, from the Three Stooges. Playing these three guys, and a leader of this gang of hoodlums wanted to be turned invisible so he could go in and out, commit crimes while invisible, and no one could see him come and go. And that was his idea. So he goes in there, he says one of his members of his posse to do this experiment, but meanwhile he didn't have the formula to eject him with, because he needed the formula to eject him in the office before he put the guy into the machine. So he puts the guy in the machine without the formula, or without the ejection, I should say, and he doesn't go crazy. He does his voice changes, and that's about it. He changes sides. And then that's about it. and then he tells the scientist and the invisible woman what this guy is up to. And so after she becomes visible, now for the rest of the movie, every time she drinks alcohol, she turns invisible. It's like one of the minor side effects. And after about, I don't know, like 24 hours, she comes back. She's visible again. But every time she drinks alcohol, she turns into not only a drunk, but she turns invisible again. So she drinks alcohol. Any kind of alcohol will work. She even drinks rubbing alcohol at one point, and becomes invisible. That's that silly type of thing. She defeats all these gangsters, and as she becomes visible again, and she marries a guy, and another one of the characters in the film, and of course she ends up having a baby, and the baby eventually becomes invisible at the end of the film. And of course the crazy scientist who invented this formula to start with. Just I guess it's Hereditary. Being invisible. I mean, it's just really a silly, campy movie, and this movie is actually longer than the original Invisible Man is, and but by just a couple of minutes. But this one is sillier. This one is campier. I mean, it's just nothing really to write home about, except for the possibility of seeing a woman invisible or turn invisible. I'm sure the movie made today will be a little bit more sexier, and you'll see her, completely naked, and her, being invisible, going from being a visible woman to an invisible one. But since the movie was made in 1941, you had no nudity back then. So it all had to be all implied. Back in the 40s and 50s, it had to be all implied with the nudity is concerned, and that's what happened. I mean, it's not really a standard movie. It's like over the top silliness in this film. So that's my review of the movie The Invisible Woman. Please click on the video. Please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and all on my YouTube channel at RallyC.com. That's all WDY. C.com is the homepage of the Rally Reviewer, Christine Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.